and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. Now, this isn't a planned video. This isn't even a planned project. That's how on the hoof this is. But a few days ago, I went mooching around the local charity shops, the thrift stores, that kind of thing, and I found something that I had to have. And it's become a project, the project that I've actually already started on. So I thought before I get any further along, I am going to film a bit of an introduction, show you what I've got, and we'll see where it goes. So let's get on with it. Now, this is the offending article. It is a treehouse that is actually a Sylvanian family's. That's calico critters for those of you in North America. Playset. And I bought it minus this branch up here. Now this branch I was able to locate on eBay and it arrived yesterday, but if you look you can see that it's slightly different colours. That doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm going to be adapting that. Now I'm missing from the original set, I'm missing railings that went along the front here and this side, a slide that could go down this side or the other side, and a swing off this branch. And I think there was some kind of a lift for pulling, like a bucket lift thing that you could fit in. Oh, and the bottom ladder is missing as well. None of this bothers me because I'm not going to keep it as it is. So take a look at it and yeah, it's going to change. So I'm going to take you back to the desk and to what I've already done. On getting the treehouse home, my first reaction was, I want to work on it. But I knew I couldn't work on the outside until I got that additional branch that I was missing. So, although I hadn't decided at that point exactly what it was going to be, I decided that I needed to add some interior details, and the first thing I knew I wanted was a flagstone floor in the bottom of the tree. Now, I've done flagstone floors before, stone floors, with pieces of egg cartons, and I was considering doing that again, but I changed my mind. I started off by making a template. Now, I made the template, which is here, because the floor is such a weird shape, being the inside of a tree. Lots and lots of undulations. Now, I used post-it notes that I then stuck together with a bit of masking tape to get me the shape that I needed. And then I cut it from a piece of a cereal box. See? Cereal box. Now I'm actually working on the other side, and the first thing I did is I painted it with a dark grey paint, which is why I've got a bit of warping, because I wasn't going to bother painting the other side. It looks like that now. This was the point at which, when I tried to fit this in, well, when I test fitted this, I realised that I was never going to get it in with pieces of egg carton on it. So I took some ordinary cardstock and I made myself a variety of sizes of flagstones. Just rounded off squares and rectangles of cardstock. And then I sat there and I painstakingly glued them into place. And now I am painstakingly painting it. Now I do know what I'm going to do with this treehouse now. Well, what the sort of theme of it's going to be. And I'm quite happy with the idea. I'm not going to tell you yet. I will save that for a little bit later in the video. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I've started making a floor. Now, I will probably put something on top of it to protect it, to give it a bit of shine. I don't know if I'll go with Mod Podge or something else. Mod Podge does at least have a little bit of give, so that might be a good one, because to get it in, I've got to still be able to bend it a bit, which is why I'm not worrying about the warping, because I'm going to have to accept that until it's fastened down. And yeah, so there's my starting of the floor. Literally, it was a case of sticking them all on and trimming around the edges. And I have tried it since I stuck them on, before I started painting it, just to make sure it did still fit. Lots of test fitting. Now, the only other good thing that I do want to mention is the little treehouse bit on the top, the bit that looks like a little log cabin, is actually removable. I'm going to leave that as removable, I think. I'm going to treat it as a slightly separate object, just to make it a little bit easier with moving the project once it's done. But it also means then that if I lift my light up to its highest level, I can actually get it onto the table under the light. Don't think I can get it under the camera as well, so that might need a little bit more jiggery pokery, but we shall see. But for now, I'm going to go back to painting my flagstones. The ground floor is finished, and I will be fitting that once I'm done with the walls. That's the bit I'm working on at the moment. I have actually started a floor for the upper tree level, but that's going to be a wood effect. So that's underway as well. And yeah, it's looking quite good. So inside the tree, I'm going to have to hold this quite carefully. I have obviously started inside here, and this is wet, so I don't want to handle it too much. But what I've got in here is some kitchen towel, paper towel, that's been attached with a mix of PVA glue and water. Now, before I did that, I actually put a layer of masking tape in there, because I wasn't too sure how anything would stick to the plastic. Now, it seems where I've got bits of glue onto the plastic, it's actually stuck quite well, but I put that extra layer in just for a bit of reassurance on my part. And so far it's kind of looking okay. Now, I can't get this all the way around. I'm having to balance it. If I want to get a better view in, I'm going to have to mess around with camera angles and things like that, but this is just my regular setup. Now, underneath this side does actually look a bit darker, because I tried some sepia coloured paint. I just tried it on the masking tape, because I thought, well, I can have a look and see what it looks like in there without ruining my final finish. Yeah, it wasn't good. It reminded me of something rather gruesome. Well, not gruesome, but not what you want in your treehouse. So no, I'm not going with a dark brown inside. I'm going to go with a lighter colour. I want a sort of off-whitey colour when I actually come to paint it, which is going to be a while yet, because this is still quite wet. Now, I've used paper towels because it gives me more texture, which is going to give me more interest. At least that's the idea. So hopefully the next time you see it, I will have done some in this upper room, which is going to have the same treatment. And I'll be able to paint in here and fit the floor. I am making some progress on the tree house. The inside is paper towelled, for want of a better phrase, and has been painted. The downstairs room is dry because I did that several days ago. The upstairs room, I've only just painted it, so I'm not going to put my finger in there because it'll get covered in the paint. Now, I don't know how well the colour is showing up on the camera because my light is playing up, but if I get a piece of paper towel, you can hopefully see the difference between it, which is an off-white, and my white paper towel. I can certainly see it in real life, so hopefully that showed up. What I have also done before I painted in there is I have wrapped everything in masking tape. Now I've got to put these back on before I can apply all the paper towel, but I'm going to start lower down, so I will do that in just a moment. I have just turned this over so that you can see where the front branch, which is this one, will fit on. Now obviously once that's in place, I'm not going to be able to put this onto the other side, which is why I'm going to have to reassess how I'm going to film this once I get to that point. And obviously this one then goes up here, and again that's going to make it a bit big for my desk. So I'm going to start off on the reverse, and as you can see I have masking taped all the way around, and I'm going to start off down here I think, so we'll pull that into shot a bit better. I've got my camera up as high as this stand will go, but it's a little bit awkward. Now what I'm using for applying my masking tape is a mixture, which I've got in this little pot here, of PVA glue and water. Now this is builder's grade PVA. It's not your craft one, even though I've got it in a craft bottle. I've reused the bottle for many, many years because the glue comes in a 5-litre container. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a bit of this onto here, and I'm going to start applying my paper towel. Now my camera's not liking this because I'm shooting in and out of focus with it, and we'll try and do this with my left hand because it's going to be easier. And it is literally as easy as that. Now ideally you don't want any straight lines, but you get straight lines, so whatever. And I am going to just try and not go over inside the building because I've painted it, but I'm going to be applying it. Now by using the wet brush, what starts to happen is you start to get texture. Now you can scrunch it up if you want more texture, and there are other people that do this sort of thing far better than me, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that technique all over the treehouse, so the next time you see it, that will hopefully be in place, because I want to start working on the inside because that's where the fun's going to be. But until I get the messy outside bits done, I can't do that, so I better get pasting. The paper towel layer is now on. the entire treehouse. Well, I say the entire treehouse, it's on the entire of the tree. I'm not paper toweling the platforms because I like the texture on them. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to paint them with some glue, which will make paint then stick on top better. So as I say, it's all done. I'm going to move it around a bit, and if I turn it over, you can see that I've actually started to give it a undercoat of black paint. Now I'm using the black paint that I don't particularly like, the one that's not very well pigmented, and I think that it's just the right thing to do in the circumstances. Now I've got a few places where in spite of my heavily daubing it on, there is still white visible. I will go over that and touch it up once I've done the other half. I painted one half, let it dry, and then I've come back to it. I did try with a dark brown paint, but I had the same problem that I had when I tried the paint on the inside, just for colour, on the masking tape. It was too dark and it was too streaky and it looked wrong. It looked really wrong. It looked, yeah, no. It was just going to take too many layers, and so I thought black undercoat, then brown and greys and all that to make it look a bit more realistic. So I'm going to turn this over. Well, I'm going to actually stand it up and work on the other side and add some more black, and then I will come back when I'm adding the actual paint to it. I am really pleased with how the paper towel has added a little bit more texture to it. It's not the greatest looking wood texture, but the wood, the bark texture would have to be quite fine because this is quite small. So I think it'll do nicely, and especially once I start adding thin coats of paint and bits of paint here and there, I think it's going to work out pretty well. The first stage of the treehouse transformation is about complete. Now I have, and you'll just have to excuse me because I'm having to reach quite a way to get into shot, put the little cabin on the top in its original state. I haven't started that. That, because it's removable, is a nice size to actually work on the bench. Now I sound like my husband, work on the bench, but work on my table in my usual position. Now I'll come in from this side. The leaves need some working on. I've got a lot of greenery to do. There's going to be a lot of greenery to do lower down. But what I've actually done for this first stage is I have completed the exterior and the first fit of the interior of the treehouse. Now I'm just going to try and pan this down, and so you get a better look, and you can see that the trunk is all painted. There's some paint gone onto the platforms outside. That needs some more work still, I know that, but I wanted to get this video done and up. And if I just pan up again, you can see the top branch needs its little birdhouse working on, but it's otherwise looking quite good. So what I'm going to do is I am going to try and slide this round. Now I'm just going to pull out the bottle that was helping me glue things in place, and you can get a view of the interior. I'll take the crystal out. I need some weights that are small. The things I use for weighing stuff down are a bit on the large side. And if I just sit down a bit there, you can see the interior of both spaces. Now I do need to do underneath of this. I have put some paint on closest to the trunk, but again, I wanted to get this video done. So the floors are in on both of these levels. I've done a kind of cool window effect up there, and I'm quite liking how it's looking, and every time I look at it I see more bits where I need to touch up, but they are on the bits that I haven't done yet. The window was actually done using a pair of dies. I used a circular die and obviously a spiderweb die, and cut the one inside of the other. Now what this actually meant is that all of the spiderweb detail that you can see inside there would have been removed. So it's actually then stuck onto some clear sticky plastic, which is why it's got a nice shine. And I doubled that up and put some coloured cellophane, one of my stash of sweet wrappers, between the cobweb spiderweb layer and the second piece of sticky plastic. I then put another layer of cardstock, cut out the same circle with the same spider web, but not the spider web, so it's just the external bit over the top, so you get that frame effect, and the glass is shiny but the exterior isn't. It's a bit of trial and error, but it seems to have worked and I quite like it. And then from the outside, obviously you've still got the original sort of window, which if the light is right behind it you can actually see, but I just think it makes a good feature in this room. I'm having some problems, even though I put glue all the way around, with everything sticking down, so hopefully when I put some things on top of it everything will weigh it down properly. But yeah, I've got my two main spaces, which, well, I'm not going to tell you what it's going to be yet, but maybe from the addition of the spiderweb you can see it's going to be one of my spooky bits. The next step is obviously going to be to work on the leaves of my tree. You can see a bit over there, and the rest of this, but for now I think I'm about done. I want to add railings around these. I need to add a ladder, and obviously I need to work on the little cabin part of the treehouse, which is going to be an integral part of the piece, but it's going to be slightly different because it's not part of the tree. I've got a few ideas for that, but that's in time. And then I want to do some work on the base, which is still looking incredibly plasticky, and if anything looks more plasticky since I've stuck everything into place. So yeah, there we have it. One treehouse transformation, first part completed. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and seeing my treehouse transformation so far. If you have, please like, comment and subscribe. It all helps my channel, and to be fair, it encourages me to make more videos. Also, I'd recommend ringing that notification bell, because it's sort of the best tool I've got to let you know when I put up another video. I know it isn't perfect. I don't claim it's perfect. I don't do anything. It's YouTube, but it's better than nothing. Life is still getting in the way of the mini life, and I wouldn't want you to miss the next stage of this transformation or everything else that I've got coming up, because I have got lots of ideas. I just haven't got enough hours in the day. So until next time, bye.